In a picturesque land, there were lush fields that stretched as far as the eye could see. These fields were rich and bountiful, providing food and joy to the villagers who relied on them. However, as the seasons changed, the fields grew restless. They began to feel a longing for adventure and decided to migrate to new lands, leaving the villagers behind. The villagers were heartbroken. They had nurtured these fields with love and care, and now they were preparing to abandon them. The farmers and their families worried about how they would survive without the fields that had sustained them for generations. As the fields began to move, their roots loosening from the soil, the mountains and hills watched with concern. "We cannot let the fields leave their home," said the tallest mountain, towering high above. "We must find a way to stop their migration." The mountains and hills gathered together to devise a plan. "If we can create a barrier, we can halt the field's journey," suggested a wise old hill. The other hills agreed, and they all began to work together. With every ounce of strength, they pushed themselves higher, forming a mighty range that stood tall against the field's path. When the fields reached the foot of the mountains, they were met with an imposing sight. "We cannot cross this barrier," the fields whispered in disbelief. "What do we do now?" The villagers, watching from afar, felt a wave of hope wash over them. They knew the mountains had come to their rescue. The farmers and their families cheered, celebrating the return of the fields that had once seemed lost. Realizing that they were not meant to wander away from their home, the fields decided to settle back into their original places. They understood that their bond with the villagers was special, and together, they could thrive. With renewed vigor, the fields grew lush and vibrant once more, yielding bountiful harvests that nourished the villagers. The farmers tended to the land, grateful for the mountains that had protected their precious fields. From that day forward, the fields learned to appreciate the beauty of their home and the love of the villagers. And whenever the winds whispered tales of adventure, they would listen but never forget where they truly belonged. Can you guess who stopped the fields from leaving? 1. The mighty mountains. 2. The wise rivers. 3. The gentle breeze.